Welcome to DuskBlood by FromSoftware, an exclusive for the Nintendo Switch 2. And man, oh man, there's a lot to talk about when it comes to this game. Shout out to FromSoftware dropping something new and interesting. I'm actually very intrigued to see how this plays. We're going to break it down in detail. So much stuff to kind of go over. This is called the DuskBloods, okay? And it is something super interesting, and we're gonna watch the trailer while I break down the information. All right, so developing right now for the Nintendo Switch 2, the DuskBlood will be releasing in 2026 or later, but I'm assuming 2026 because they're already showing some footage. Then they say DuskBloods is a PvPvE title, meaning you can play against players and against boss enemies and fighting things. They say with online multiplayer at its core. This is very important to note, and we're going to talk about this and break it down in a second to give you guys some tips and tricks on what to expect. Where up to 8 players vie for supremacy against themselves and others, challenging foes. So basically, you're going to be going at it. And the deep dive and information here, that with the only little bit that we have, it says play as a bloodsworn, a group that is transcendent human strength thanks to their special blood. Throw yourself into the violent fray for first blood as the twilight of humanity approaches. All right, and so now this is basically, you're gonna have superior, a superior race of creatures. That's why they're calling it DuskBloods. And basically, we're gonna have to go in there, fight against enemies. And if you guys seen Elden Ring Night Rain, where you're jumping into the Elden Ring world and you're fighting off bosses, leveling up, this is kind of what this game is gonna do, but it's gonna have PvP in it as well. So you're gonna imagine being able to get in there and go at it. Now, I don't know if this said co-op, but there is an interesting feature because we did see someone summoning something. We don't know if it's a mimic or another player. It's interesting to kind of go into, and we're going to dive into some details and kind of like go through this footage to give you guys a breakdown. We're not doing heavy lore or anything like that because we don't know what storyline this is following or this is coming from. Only the information that I gave you is certified so far. Everything else that I'm about to do is going to be speculation, and we're going to get into how this game can play and how it feels. First thing I want to talk about is this story segment. All right, so I'm not sure how the story will unfold, but there are some cutscenes, and this lady is talking about giving her blood for this person. And as we saw in one of the clips, if you drain someone's blood, I'm assuming you're going to get more powers and you're going to be more powerful. So I'm assuming that PvP aspect can also affect the game in a good way, where if you drain some other player's blood, maybe you get all of their leveling up as well. So you can steal their power to a certain extent. And so as you can see right here, the mark on his hand, kind of like a self-inflicted maybe, or just a mark that he's one of these bloodsworn people with the superhuman strength, the special blood, and he's out for first blood, aka playing in this PvPvE setup. And what I want to try to dive into is things like this. All right, this is literally a train station in a Dark Souls style game, which is super cool. This game has modern elements. All right, not only a train, but we've seen an automatic rifle and so much more. So it's gonna get interesting. The traditional stuff like this church here and things like that look very cool too, as far as interesting. And we want to talk about what is one of the main characters, and I believe this is us controlling him. He has the gun on his back and a sword on his side, and the outfit looks nice. He's kind of stylish, he's kind of like swagging on you a little bit. And I just love the allure of it all, where you can see the high ground. And we see multiple characters flying up into the air. So the traversal is going to be even crazier. If you've seen Elden Ring, where you can traverse from high to low, and then you see Night Rain from Elden Ring, you can do some flying. And so this game has some type of setup like this. They don't show it in full detail, but it is interesting. Now, this character, again, speculations. We don't know if it's a playable character or one of the AI bosses or anything like that. It looks like an NPC to me, but who knows? And this 100% certain, I believe this is another player. These players are classes, in my opinion. These are going to be your playstyles, because we see some of them in action and we're like, okay, this looks cool. Unless they're just putting these guys in particular places, and we'll see about that in a minute. This looks like another boss fight, and this character looks like a great boss fight. I want his weapon, and his stance is pretty sick. And so this is a lot of interesting stuff on how they can present this game. Now, one of the biggest interesting ones was this. Is this us? Because these guys who play these type of games want to be heavily tanked, and it's kind of like the typical thing where you go in and you just face tank everything. You got great defense, and then you're just going crazy. But you can see the main thing that I was talking about earlier is this traversal system. It's going to let me just fly around in this Iron Man suit wherever I need to go. I'm for that. And you can see he ends up traversing to a whole nother area. And again, one of those characters that kind of remind me of the Elden Ring characters. But we don't know exactly who these people are. Are they players? I would assume they're NPCs. And this is a boss fight right here. If that's you as a character, I love it. That's a crazy outfit, but I doubt that. So a lot of interesting stuff, guys. And again, this traversal system is going to let you have some type of flying. And the other part that I want to talk about is this right here. This is a regular enemy. It doesn't look like a player. It looks like a zombie style enemy, and he's draining him from the blood, which most likely powers you up. And that's how you're going to create your build, your RPG elements, I assume, is through consuming enemies' blood. I want to stop and talk about this. I mean, you're going to be going through the sewer areas. You know how this feels. Very cool, but that thing is going to be annoying. There's no space to fight it, and he's going to be chasing you around. It's going to get interesting. Looks like your ex-girlfriend, by the way. But yeah. And then this right here, again, a little more lore about what this world is offering. But this is the PvPvE. Again, we don't know if it's co-op. We don't know if it's single player PvP. But they are calling something in. Is it a mimic? It doesn't look like it. It looks like another character to me. And this character has some badass swords, dual blades. I love the setup. And all of them have really good swagger. I'm just going to say their outfits is on point. And so you can see right here, this traversal is insane because he travels from high ground. And he got that automatic weapon where he's shooting insane shots. And this is a boss fight. And it's probably going to be one of the tougher bosses early on in the game. Very, very cool to see. And then we just start getting highlights. Okay, this is the different locations. You're on the horse and you're headed out. And this person transformed. I wanted to pause it right here. As you can see, they're transforming into a dinosaur, which is going to be a cool ability to kind of just munch on another player that looks like. And the reason why I said it was a PvP is because the player that they're munching on was someone I said is the character with the cool blades that we saw earlier. So they were on top of the train station. And so they get eaten up by a player. Then you have this thing. I don't know who he is. He needs a new haircut. This is the character that just got eaten by the dinosaur. So you can see this is a player practicing his moves. And this is another player. And I believe this is a spell casting player that you're capable, a mage, to do some good stuff with it. I think this is going to be spectacular. And that is pretty much the whole trailer. And the final boss here, this has to be a boss because he has some words, and then of course the thing ends. And so that is my breakdown on what I think is coming. I think you're going to get tossed into there just like Night Rain, but it's a PvP version of Night Rain. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I do feel FromSoftware has went corporate. People get mad at Ubisoft for doing this kind of thing where like, you're making 3 games out of 1 game. Yeah. Well, your favorite company, FromSoftware, is doing it also. And to be honest, I'm not mad. I'm down for a PvP game like this, and I'm down for Night Rain as a co-op experience, and I'm loving Elden Ring. So all three are the same game, just with different setups, and I can experience that. And will I pay full price? Whatever. We're gonna argue about it in the comments. I don't know. You guys tell me what you're feeling. But in the end of the day, I'm definitely gonna try it regardless. I'm buying a Nintendo Switch 2 just for this game, you know. So, and not just for this game, but definitely cannot wait. And we don't know if this is purely exclusive. At the moment, it's saying it is. You guys, if you find out, leave it in the comments. And make sure you let me know on Discord with a link, because I can't just believe anybody. But we'll let you guys know as well. But that's the rundown on this. I think it's going to be a fun mode if we're going to get a Night Rain style where we're going into a map, leveling up, fighting other players, getting good gear, just survival type of thing where you're extracting to a certain extent. It could get interesting, and I wouldn't mind that. And again, this is more for those who like PvP, not single player. And I'm sorry, because I'm sure there's millions of you. But yeah, leave a like if this was informative and if you enjoy my content, so we can continue to get YouTube to show love to the world. And I'll see y'all in the comments, man. Y'all stay safe, take care, stay blessed. All right, peace.